days of the world, the gods Ioun and Vecna ascended, becoming embroiled in their eternal conflict over the source of all magic in the astral plane. The other gods stayed behind, doing as they pleased in the old world. They had all watched the emergence of mortals, with their finite and fragile lives, and the sense of driving purpose that men, dwarves, and all other races and monsters seemed to gain from the knowledge of their eventual end. Each of the deities had certain favorites, both peoples and individuals, and each in their own way bestowed their guidance to lead, or to grow and shape, or to twist and warp their chosen ones to fit their own godly ideals. What they did not do was to lessen themselves for the betterment of mortals, because the gods are eternal, and once given away, some gifts could never be taken back. But a few goddesses felt that the rewards of investing, of trying to choose a winner, a race of worshippers who could grow to overwhelm all others, they felt those rewards might outweigh the costs in the long term. Blibal, then known as Blibdulpulp, goddess of storms and slaughter and of the depths, measured all the races of the sea, and from them she selected the Kuatoa. They had some natural advantages, some physical strength, but more, they had great strength of will and pride which fit with her purpose. And she began infusing their bloodlines with her own power, goading and prodding them to greatness, to military dominance, and to mass slaughters which would one day turn the oceans red. Lolth, goddess of darkness, treachery, and the Underdark, saw Blibal's gambit and the fruits of her gift, so she took a similar approach. Lolth infused with power her own favorites, the drow elves of the Shadowfell, but she spent much more of her strength than Blibal had, enough that she may have weakened herself in the process. So confident was she that, with her aid, the insidious drow could one day conquer both the Shadowfell and the Old World as well. Tiamat, the many-headed, many-hued goddess of pride, strength, and avarice, was even more biased, seeking to outdo the others. In her greed, ironically, she surrendered even more of her own power to the mortals she had chosen, the great dragons. She gambled so much of her power aiding the covetous dragons that they grew to massive size, becoming beings of almost pure magic and nigh immortal themselves. All three of their chosen races used their gifts well. The Kuatoa would go on to conquer most of the seas of the Old World, while the dragons soon ruled 2 of the 3 continents. And below the Shadowfell the drow became the most dominant race in the near-endless tunnels and caverns of the Underdark. Tiamat was not satisfied with even this. Nothing in the world could satiate her. Every morning she was faced with something next to which all the treasures of the world seemed pale and dull. She grew jealous of Pelor's shining sun. She wished to have it for her own. Tiamat was not the only deity to wish for the powers of another, but she knew of no way that such a thing could be done. She did, however, figure that if anyone knew how, it would be Vecna, god of secrets. To this day, no one knows what Tiamat could have used to bargain, what she could have given or promised in exchange for such a secret. But it came to pass that Vecna told her of the death equation, the knowledge of how to kill a god. From this, logic tells us several things. The very fact that Vecna would share this proves that he knows some way to protect himself from it, just as the fact that his enemy, Ioun, still lives proves that she too is immune. But Tiamat took the secret with glee. And so it was, one fateful day, that Tiamat, the multi-headed dragon god, attacked Pelor at duskfall when his power waned. It was not an easy battle, as Pelor fought with blinding light, and even when she wounded him, he wielded the power of healing to renew himself. But after a great struggle, she got him where she wanted him, and slew unsuspecting Pelor with the death equation. Doing so took an immense toll on the she-dragon, shocking her. But Pelor was erased from the universe, and she revelled in the power of his domains, healing and the sun, all hers, as their essences flowed into her. But her triumph was short-lived, for Delvash came upon her. Seeing the sun under her control, the god of darkness, tyranny, and lies realized what she had done. And so Delvash dragged her, in her weakened state, down to his home and bound her to a rock, demanding to know how she had killed a god. For obvious reasons, Tiamat refused to tell him, and so he began to torture her. After unending torment at the hands of Delvash, Tiamat finally surrendered the secret of the death equation to him. Not yet trusting it to be the full truth, he ambushed and destroyed his rival Lolth with it, and though it took a tremendous amount out of him to do so, he exulted in the new power as he took for his own the Spider Queen's domains, deceit and darkness, in which Delvash now stands unopposed. Having lost their patron deity, most drow naturally gravitated to worshipping Delvash as well. Delvash now knew, or thought he knew, how much power it takes to kill a god using the death equation. Having no more to learn from Tiamat, he destroyed her too as soon as he felt strong enough. But he had made an error. Using the equation a second time took far more out of him than the first time, and Delvash was left too weak to destroy, or even to withstand the power of the blazing sun after seizing Tiamat's and Pelor's other domains. He was forced to release it back into the sky, a failure which haunts him still to this day. Learning that the death equation takes a greater toll with each use, Delvash has not used it since, though it is difficult to say what he is waiting for. The fact that Delvash now holds power over healing, opposed by Dialia and by Muradin, is thought to be the cause of scarring among mortals. Certainly, that power is what allowed him to warp the feral trolls, turning each troll's jawbone into an invulnerable anchor for its soul, allowing the monsters to regenerate even from being burnt to black ash. And those who become lost at night, or in the mists of the Shadowfell, do not pray so much as beg for mercy from Delvash, the Master of Darkness.